Yeah, whatever. I lied.
Yeah, I lie also.
Sue
you know
me.
what? Everyone lies. Everyone fucking lies. Why do people act like they don't lie? It's crazy.
Because that's how you're supposed. If you're a good liar, you're supposed to act like you didn't lie. If you're a bad liar, then it's it's obvious. I lie first, and then the honesty comes.
I just lie, and I never will. I'll just deny.
Yeah,
like a real psycho.
You can't be on Real Housewives and not be a professional liar.
Welcome to my happy place. It's a little softer and like a little more playful, but still edgy. I'm really happy and grateful with where I am today. It's the Leah McSweeney Show. Welcome to the Leah McSweeney Show. I am so fucking excited to have my girl, Teddy Quinlivan, here with me today. I said your last name right?
Yeah, you said it right.
Okay, good. She is an activist, a supermodel. She's walked down the runway for everyone from Laquan Smith, Carolina Herrera, Louis Vuitton, Christian Siriano. The list goes on and on. She's fucking hilarious, smart, and like the hottest bitch ever. So thank you, Teddy.
Thank you so much for having me, Leah. It's such an honor to be on your wholesome podcast. And I feel like this episode will be a great addition to your roster.
I really think it is.
Of family-friendly content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's get right into it. We met through Dr. Rita Linkner.
She does my fillers.
She does mine too. And you know what? No, I haven't like gotten filler in over a year, and I need to go back badly.
Okay, yeah. Well, I can't afford to get filler anymore because it's just like too expensive for me.
Expensive,
and I feel like, yeah. And also the filler that I got when I was, I don't know, like 21 or something, or 22 years old, like has just stayed in my face and hasn't moved. So I stopped at one point. I stopped a couple years ago getting filler, and I'm really glad I did, because some people end up looking like Sharon fucking Osbourne. Are we allowed to curse on your podcast?
Fuck yeah, girl.
Okay, yeah, just checking. Just checking.
But she's gotten, I mean, she's probably had like a couple facelifts and just, I don't know, this overfilled thing. Well, that's the other thing. I haven't gotten filler in like since last November, not this one, the one before, because I had like got 4 syringes or something. Like I got my eyes done. I got an upper bleph.
Okay.
In Virginia. Dr. Rita came with me.
Why, just for fun?
And she knew the doctor.
Oh, and she knew the doctor.
And she was like, but it was for fun too. And we like slept in the same bed, and she like took care of me. And
oh, cute.
It was so much fun. And
horny.
It was so horny. And the doctor gave us a ride back on her fiance's private plane. It was so great.
What the fuck?
Back to New York. I know, but I was shook. Like I was scared because it's a small plane, you know, and I just was holding on to Dr. Rita for dear life.
Yeah.
That was only my second time on a private plane.
What is up with these medical elites and their private planes? And I don't think a doctor should make so much money that they have a private plane.
But it wasn't her. It was her fiance.
Oh, her husband.
Well, now husband. But
husband. His private plane?
Yeah, it was his plane.
He has a plane? Mm-hmm. Rita, what the fuck?
Rita has good
Rita,
friends.
Out here, she's like always on vacation. And I can't even like look at her stories anymore because I get so much jealous rage because it'll be like her and her 2 and 3 year old children all in like first class, and they're all like taking pictures and sipping champagne, and I'm like, fuck this bitch. Those kids are gonna be too spoiled. You're raising brats. I'm gonna tell you right now, Rita. I know you're gonna watch this episode. If they're sitting in first class and riding private planes from the time that they're 3. Yeah, you gotta watch out, honey.
I know, but what do you do if you're like
spoiling them?
But what do you do if you have like, and you're super loaded, your kids are 2 and 3, what are you gonna do? Sit in coach when you don't have to?
You make them sit in coach.
But if they're so young, who's gonna watch them back there?
The stewardess.
I don't know, somebody. You send the nanny back there with them.
Yeah, exactly. The nanny. That's exactly, because you know does she have nannies? She must.
I'm sure for sure. Yeah. Or she used to when they were younger.
Yeah.
They're a little older now, but
Okay, girl. It's time that the nannies sit back and coach with those children.
Yeah.
They like, to a child, it doesn't even make a difference.
Put those children in coach.
No, they don't need to fully recline.
And you'll
Their
save
bodies
your
are
money.
so small. Yeah,
you'll save so much money too.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not a parent, so I don't want to give parenting advice, but I know a lot of these kids who grew up with that stuff as adults now, and they are like not okay.
I know.
And they all end up like overdosing and dying.
It's so true.
Just saying. Like
It's
they
true.
all end up developing like deep-seated insecurities that lead to like crazy drug problems. And then they just die.
You know what?
Oh no, is something happening?
It just goes to show you, as we already know, that like money really doesn't make you happy or do anything like that, even though I still want a lot of it.
I am the brokest I have ever been in my life right now.
Why?
Because I like haven't really been modeling that much.
Why not? You're so fucking hot. What's wrong with these
But I am
people?
the hottest this is what I was about to say. Like, I am the brokest I've ever been, but I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. And I am the most attractive I've ever been in my life.
Has a sheikh ever like contacted you, DM'd you? Like, I need to know like what's happening. I don't know. Now I'm thinking about Saudi Arabia and Dubai.
Saudi Arabia is on my mind a lot recently too, for some weird reason. I don't know. Something
too,
with Saudi Arabia just happened. Oh, so like Saudi Arabia just brokered some, or China just brokered some peace deal between Saudi Arabia and
who?
Iran.
Oh, okay.
Which is like something that was in the news recently, so maybe that's why it's on my mind. Also, like Mohammed bin Salman, I'd hit it.
Oh wait, he's kind
of hot.
Oh my God, wait, is that the guy that killed the person?
Yeah, that's the guy who ordered the hit on Jamal Khashoggi.
He is so fucking hot.
Yeah,
he's hot. That guy. I'm sorry.
Hot.
I know he's evil.
I know he's an evil.
He's an evil, horrible person.
Evil, horrible person.
But he looks like he has a pretty dick.
Yeah, he does look like he has a big dick. He probably does. He probably has like a harem of like hot Mia Khalifa type ladies.
Yeah, oh, totally.
For sure. Which is, I support.
Wait, but I think that Prince, whatever his name
Mohammed bin Salman.
Exactly. I think he bought Lindsay Lohan a pair of earrings or something. Did you read that somewhere?
I don't know, but that sounds like maybe, I don't know, like, Lindsay Lohan looks so rough now. Like, I can't imagine anybody wanting to.
Well, she's pregnant now, and she's married to a Saudi Arabian
She was
guy,
like living in Dubai for a second. Remember when she like tried to abduct those kids on the street?
Oh my God,
that is a cracked out rage.
That's like the best video I've ever seen in my life. It is the funniest video ever when she's like talking in the accent, and then like she tries to take the kid and they're like running away from her.
I think she gave up the accent recently. I think she's like,
yeah, she did. I mean, I love Lilo. I'm a Lilo fan.
No, I am too.
Yeah,
like, I think she's amazing, and I think
want the best for her.
I want the best for her as well. I don't know who MBS is sleeping with. Probably like. He probably has no interest in sleeping with famous people. Yeah. I would imagine. I think I don't know a lot of billionaires that are like chasing celebrities. I think it's only other celebrities that like want to date celebrities, because like famous people are mentally ill and crazy. Like, why would you ever want to be in a relationship with somebody who like has girls sliding into their DMs every 5 seconds or whatever? Yep. And also, no offense to Mohammed bin Salman, but all the offense, he's not exactly the brightest crayon in the box, considering that he's like building the line. Did you see that thing the structure that he's building?
No.
It's like Mohammed bin Salman is making this. It's supposed to be this like 100-mile long building that is like reflective glass on both sides. It literally looks like the Great Wall of China if it was owned by Simon Malls or something. It's like, yeah, it's
and he's
bizarre.
doing that and
it starts at the ocean and like goes through the desert. It's like hard to explain without seeing
what is it?
It's like supposed to be like a community in Saudi Arabia that's supposed to be like a place where they're trying to modernize Saudi Arabia and make it like appealing for people to move to. But I hate to break it to you, people don't want to move to a place where you can like be beheaded for sleeping with a guy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Or like you get imprisoned for adultery or whatever. Like
they still do that.
What?
They still do that.
They do that. No, it's Sharia law.
Yeah, they have Sharia law. Sorry, boo. I'm not moving into your weird gay complex where I have the possibility of being beheaded. Not that he would want my tranny ass there in the first place. But he probably, I bet Mohammed bin Salman loves transgender women. He totally gives off that vibe, but he's like definitely down for a T-girl.
What's it? Oh,
a T-girl.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
Trans girl.
A transvestite. Mohammed bin Salman goes, I have to be careful because they'll put like a fatwa on me or something and all. I
Not the fatwa.
Not the fatwa.
Oh my
like,
God.
I have to be really careful about what I say because.
Wait, can you tell if a guy is down for a T-girl or not?
Well,
like,
it's hard for me because guys don't. They don't know to brag, but they may not know I'm transgender by just meeting me.
Right.
They might have to do some close investigation and on my Adam's apple.
Oh.
And the register of my voice.
Got it.
In order to,
Yeah.
Like it might take them a while to catch on, but.
Right. So wait, how does it work? Like if you're not, like when you're dating and someone doesn't know, when do you tell them? Or like, how does it?
Before I sleep with
Before
them.
you even like, okay.
Yeah. Or like nowadays I'm just like when I was meeting guys on the internet, like, on Raya or Tinder or whatever, like my Instagram was linked. And at the time I was doing so much trans activism, all you literally had to do is pop on my Instagram, which why wouldn't you go on someone's Instagram before you met up with them?
Of course.
Before you so like, it wasn't like I was announcing I was trans. It was like, I felt like I didn't have to because it was already announced.
It's already
on CNN.
It's already all there.
It was already all there. So
wait, were you on CNN?
Yeah, that's how.
Cool.
That's when I came out publicly as transgender. That's how I did it because I was modeling for years and people didn't know I was trans.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had I kept it hidden because I wanted to. First of all, I thought that it would be impossible to have a career as a trans model, which turned out because I didn't want to be like trivialized and put into a box because I was trans. So I felt like. And also at the time too, like people who were openly trans were like being mocked and ridiculed. Like I was, I grew up watching Maury Povich and like Jerry Springer's and like, that's a man, Maury, and like all that stuff.
Yep.
So I felt like it was really important for me to conceal that part of my identity so that I would be able to, just live a normal life. I didn't want to get like murder raped. I didn't want to get like, you hear about what happens to, or especially at that time, what was happening to trans girls who were like caught being trans or whatever, or like just like living openly as trans.
So scary.
And, they just were getting shot, getting beheaded, getting dismembered, like getting set on fire by like these crazy people. And I was like, I really don't want someone throwing acid in my face. Yeah. So I don't think I'm going to like talk about this publicly. And that was the hardest time, maybe one of the hardest times in my life, because keeping this part of my identity a secret in service of having a career within fashion, which you would think would be like the most accepting institution or the most accepting industry. And of course it's not. It's like super racist, super, self-hate, super homophobic, super transphobic. Yeah. Especially at that time. Now it's like, they don't want to put a model in a show unless they can virtue signal off of them anymore, which is partially why my career is like, I'm in a career stalemate. Like I'm, floundering because you can't, the cachet of putting me inside of a campaign or in a show anymore just isn't there. Like I am not plus size.
You're too hot.
Yeah, exactly.
You're too hot.
I don't read in a photograph or in a fashion show as like a transgender person. Yeah. So like there is no incentive for these brands who are, very like soullessly and meaninglessly virtue signaling off the backs of, super like people, people advocate for this stuff and they think it's like so well intentioned and blah, 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 but it's truly just exploitive. I know. Like, cause at the end of the day, like you're not, by putting a 400-pound girl on the cover of Vogue, like I'm sorry, like she may be beautiful. Like she's made like, well, you can be beautiful and be anything. I'm not saying you can't be a burn victim and be beautiful. I'm not saying that you can't have your eye gouged out with a fork and be beautiful. I'm not saying you can't be morbidly obese and be beautiful or like whatever. But I mean, I think the assault on the standard of beauty by, the fashion industrial complex is truly like,
what about just some average ass bitches? Can we just get some average ass? Like, what about just like an average weight? Like, what about an average looking girl? They'll never put anyone average. Well, it's just quote unquote average, because what is average, right? Like, it just goes from one extreme to the next. You know what I mean?
I'm not hating on it in the way that I don't. I'm not saying that I think that a plus size person can't be beautiful, but let's be honest about what they're doing. And let's be honest about how they're exploiting the fact that these people are unhealthy to try to market to other unhealthy people.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
sorry, like that's just how it is. It's like they're virtue signaling. It's to gain some sort of like morality points.
Yeah, that's it.
Within an industry, it's just, you know, and I just think it's really. You speak to any man about this sort of thing, and like any guy who is not involved in fashion will tell you that it's like the dumbest thing they've ever seen in their life. You know, like they're really not. They're not tricking anybody or fooling anybody.
Victoria's Secret stock is like tanking from what I'm looking at.
I mean, whatever. But like Victoria's Secret is doing it in this way that it feels so sort of like vapid.
You know what? I think Skims is doing a good job.
Yes, I feel like
it's real.
Yeah, it feels real for
real.
Skims. It feels bizarre for Victoria's Secret to like
go from fucking the Victoria's Secret angels to plus size only and like Megan Rapinoe.
Yeah.
Or was that her last name? I don't know her last name.
But it's just like, why can't Megan Rapinoe just be like, does she need to be a Victoria's Secret angel, or can she just be an amazing athlete and, you know, get sports sponsorships? Like, I don't know if
I gave her so much money.
Yeah, exactly. No. Like, I don't know if they gave her that much money, because I've been on hold for some of those VS campaigns.
And what kind of money are we talking?
Not a lot.
Really?
Not as much as they used to. I'll tell you that much. Not when Giselle was running the show.
She's fucking hot.
She is fucking hot. But also, anybody will look at Giselle Bundchen and find her body type to be aspirational. You know, it's like the fashion industry has always dictated to people like what is aspirational. And like a Giselle Bundchen body type is aspirational because she worked hard for that body.
She sure did.
You know what I mean?
And she continues to.
Yeah. It's like... And she continues to, exactly. So it's like the idea that, like, of course there are going to be some women who are just born with these like exceptional, like an Emily Ratajkowski who's born with like an exceptionally.
It's like a 0.0001% gene pool that it's like, you know.
And I think that like you look at Emily Ratajkowski and she clearly feels some type of like guilt for being so beautiful, and that's why she's like really needed to take this like
it's so
this
weird
hard left into trying to be like an activist or like whatever. And
I mean, she seems like a nice girl, obviously.
I think,
but
well,
no, I don't know her at all. Is she not nice?
Like let me just put it this way: don't meet your heroes in real life. Like that's all I'm gonna say. I just think that like. You know, and also a lot of like, I don't know why everybody feels like that they have to be like a public intellectual these days. I find that to be really irritating.
Or like a do-gooder, like charitable, like I care about every issue. I'm like, just, it's okay to just care about yourself and like not give a fuck. Just be honest about it. Like I don't want some fake, I care about everything shit. Like stop.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
we care about the issues that affect us as people.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure. I don't know. I just think that like, I don't understand how you can claim a feminist identity after using your body to gain fame in the first place. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like everything that brought you to where you are today is so anti what you stand for right now. Yeah. And so it's like, now all of a sudden that you're successful and you have like 10 million followers, like now you're a feminist. Okay. Yeah. Like that's convenient.
I mean, I'm
not just saying this is exclusive to Emily Ratajkowski.
Yeah, you're saying this in general.
This is like this is a broad spectrum thing. You know, I've seen this also with some trans girls too, who like started like, you know, from the beginning, like riding off of their trans identity, being like, I'm a trans model. This is my thing, like from the very beginning. And then they like, you know, get a little bit of success or a little taste of success. And they're like, I don't want to be an activist anymore. That's like what made you successful.
Right.
And also like, you're just not that pretty. So like, why are you giving up the thing that like made you relevant and interesting? I have a question for you. Don't hate me for asking this. Are your teeth real?
No,
those have been yours. They look so perfect. I was like, oh my God, I was like, your smile looks so amazing. I was like, shit, are those teeth real?
Dr. Rubenstein. He's so amazing. But back to, you know, the feminism point, like I was always like to me, Little Kim is like my feminist icon. Like, because even though she never claimed to be a feminist, and she still doesn't, right? Yeah. To me, I love that she like came in and flipped it on the men, right? Yeah. She was like, no, like you're going to call me a hoe. No, I'll call myself a hoe. I'll take your fucking money. I'll make you buy me a Chanel bag. Yeah. I loved it. I was like, she's just owning who she is.
Or like Pamela Anderson, or like, I think it is more feminist to just own your sexuality.
Exactly. Me
and
too.
to
Not
not have to explain it. It's like,
Exactly.
I don't understand why everybody has to explain, like, I'm taking my top off because it's a statement. No, you're taking your top off because you want attention and you're a whore.
Yeah, and your
that's
titties
okay.
look good. Yeah,
And
show them off.
But you having to explain it, it makes it seem like there's something wrong with just wanting attention and being a whore. And I'm sorry, but it's part of being a human is wanting attention and getting sexual attention.
Of course.
And
I had to explain that to my daughter a couple years ago when she put not sexual, but she put a photo on Instagram that was like suggestive, you know? And I told her she had to take it down. And I said, I understand wanting attention. I understand wanting to be provocative. She was like maybe 13.
Too early.
I said, you're going to have a lot of years to do that. We're just not doing it right now. Yeah. You know? And she was like, all right. And she's never posted anything on Instagram since then, but she will when she's, she can be sexy when she's 18.
I just think that there's nothing wrong with wanting to exploit yourself in that way and then run to the New York Crimes to write an op-ed about how difficult it is being the hottest woman alive. Yeah, there's just nothing wrong with being a slut. Nope. You know, and you shouldn't have to explain that to anybody. Like, you just absolutely do it. That's I don't have to explain it to anybody.
Me neither.
Yeah, no. If I want to post a picture of my brand new silicone titties, you bet your ass I will.
Exactly.
And enjoy the view.
Exactly.
And I'm not doing it I'm not doing it to empower myself.
No.
But there's nothing empowering about showing your nipples online. Sorry.
No, it's just fun.
Yeah, it's just fun.
It's just fun to be a slut.
Okay. Yeah, it's fun to be a whore.
We don't have to fucking intellectualize everything, right? And make everything
not at all.
We have to make everything a fucking statement.
Yeah. And I just think it's like dishonest and unattractive to try to do that. But
we're on the
that's
same.
fine.
We're honestly on the same. We're on the same page with that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. There's a lot of laws being passed.
Yeah.
And you've been outspoken about it, and I've seen what you've been writing on your Instagram about everything. And you were saying that if you weren't able to have medical intervention, at a younger age, which these laws are now prohibiting children and parents to make medical decisions based on if they want to transition or not. You may have been totally depressed. People made it, I don't want to say you would end up killing yourself. I don't know about that, but maybe. I mean, because you couldn't be who you wanted to be.
Imagine, so you're obviously a woman. Imagine being forced to put on men's clothes and being told to go outside and cut your hair short. Imagine your parents, society, people around you telling you no, you're not who you think you are. You're crazy and you need to be the same. Can you imagine if someone literally if your family was going to disown you if you didn't put on men's clothes and present male when you're this?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would probably drive you a little crazy.
It would drive me completely insane.
So for me, I spent my whole life knowing that I was female from the time that I was literally could conceptualize what gender was from the time that I was a toddler.
Wow.
This was just a consistent thing throughout my life. Always was interested in feminine things. Not just interested in feminine things. I identified with feminine things.
Right.
I didn't want to play with trucks and I wanted to play with girls and play with Barbies. Not because, I was just so gay I had to be a girl or something. It's I did that because I felt I needed to be myself, and myself is female. And the idea that there are over 8 billion people on Earth with all these different variations, and there's no possible way that a transgender person could exist, or that somebody might feel that there's a misalignment between their psyche and their body is crazy to me. There are people out there who have true mental psychosis where they hear voices and see things. There are people out there who are bipolar. There are people out there who suffer from autism, or they're just a broad spectrum of mental abnormalities, shall we say.
Yes.
And
I like that term.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just, there's nothing wrong with it. No. There's nothing wrong with having psychosis or whatever. No. It might just make your life really difficult, and you might need medication, and you might need some form of intervention. Yes. And the Republican or not even Republican, the conservative solution is that we shouldn't you know, we shouldn't allow transgender people to live as the gender as that they feel. We shouldn't allow transgender people to express themselves the way that they feel, because it's ultimately harmful for them. Because like what conservative people
they're
think
saying that like it's hurting them. They're not really.
It's hurting them.
Yeah.
Like you're lying to them. Well, I'm sorry, but until you invent some magic pill that's going to make trans people not trans anymore and feel comfortable in the bodies that they were born, transitioning is all we have.
Right.
It's not like there is some magical antidote or solution.
Yeah, it's not like you can take Lexapro to make your
exactly.
You
It's
feel
not like you can take lithium and like all of the sudden like I feel like, oh my god, now I love having a penis or whatever. That's not how it works.
Do you have a penis? Sorry, am I not allowed to ask that?
It's none of your business, but my skirt is rather short, so if you see anything flop out, there will be your answer. I'll do like a Sharon Stone.
You're the best.
Moment. But it shouldn't matter if I could snap my fingers and have the most perfect pink little sliver pussy, I would do it, of course. Yeah. But it's not that simple. And the surgeries can be
painful, right?
Incredibly painful. It can be really hard. The idea that anybody would just like casually choose one day to wake up and be trans and go through like all of the trauma of like walking down the street and feeling like a total freak, having people not accept you into their social circles, having people make fun of you all the time, people not take you seriously, people think you're insane. Like people like literally write laws to cast you out of society and out of public existence. Yeah. Like the idea that somebody would like choose to go through all of this trauma, not just the mental trauma of feeling like your body and your brain don't align,
the physical trauma of what you mean,
like the physical trauma of taking the hormones. And you know, like taking hormones is like no walk in the park. It's not like I'm popping E. Like when I pop E, I'm not popping ecstasy. I'm popping estrogen, y'all. Like it's
how does that feel?
Well, it feels the same as it does for you. Like
but
initially,
I don't take birth control.
Yeah, I mean, like you have estrogen in your body, like and it feels
like, you mean, I know, but how, like, does it make you depressed? Does it make you?
Yeah, it makes you like, the biggest things that I noticed were I used to have a much higher libido before I was on estrogen.
Interesting.
Like I used to be so much more horny, and like horny in a way where it was like fogging my like mind.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? It would just be like, really oh my god, like. But that's how men just go through life.
Yeah, just really horny. All the
just
time.
Like kind of like horny all of the time, and like I don't know, just like kind of like obsessing over sexual stuff, but in a way that was like subliminal. Like it wasn't like it's not like it was at the forefront of my mind, but it was just like always there. And I think that's just like how men be like that.
How old were you when you started like taking estrogen, or when you were able
to get on puberty blockers when I was 15, and contrary to popular belief, they don't just like give you puberty blockers. Like I had to go through an entire medical network in order to I had to see a specific like designated gender therapist who specializes in trans care. There was like only one in like the tri-state area who does this sort of thing, who like specifically focuses on this stuff.
Were your parents on board?
My mom was.
Okay.
My dad was not initially. But I didn't even tell my dad initially because I just knew he wouldn't accept it. And my parents were divorced, and me and my dad at this point were like not talking over, you know, different, you know, issues. So I sort of kind of did it behind my dad's back with my mom, because to us, it was undeniable that I was trans. Like it was just so clear. And I felt like I didn't want to like, I was very lucky because I started hormones when I was 15, and I had a later puberty. I can't imagine starting hormones and what I would have looked like and what I would have sounded like and all of the extensive surgeries I would have needed. And even after people get tons and tons of surgery, they still look like a transsexual or like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I'm lucky. I started hormones at a time where I can pass now as female and like live my life like any normal girl can. Yep. But that's thanks to the fact that I was able to have this medical intervention, the fact that I became a top model and was able to walk for Prada and Gucci and Louis Vuitton and Dior and to have Chanel beauty contracts and, you know, like all of that stuff and walk for Savage Fenty. And like the fact that I look.
Sorry, I missed out on all those when I was introducing you.
It's fine. I'm plugging them now.
Yeah, plug it.
Now I'm humble bragging.
Humble brag.
But the fact that I was able to have this incredible career is because of the fact that I had medical intervention at a young age. Hunter Schafer is another great example of somebody who had medical intervention at a young age.
The actress who's on Euphoria?
Okay. Yeah. So it's like, and she looks spectacular. She looks great.
She looks really great.
Yeah, she looks amazing. And I mean, a lot of that is thanks to the fact that she had medical intervention at a young age. And clearly she doesn't regret it. This idea that like, this is mutilation or like something like that. There should be, of course, some medical gatekeeping. Like there has to be. Like you can't just give hormones to everybody who's going through some like, who's questioning. Yeah. Like there has to be like months and months and months of intensive therapy. That's what I had to go through, months of intensive therapy before I was approved to get hormone blockers. The idea, like conservatives will lead you to believe that they're giving hormone blockers and puberty blockers to like 8-year-olds. Or like, I mean,
honestly, when I read about this stuff, it kind of does seem like that.
Doesn't it sound like that?
It sounds like 8-year-olds are running to these centers that are everywhere and just being able to like take puberty blockers like they're gummy bears or something.
They're getting indoctrinated. And
then the drag queens are reading the story.
I mean, doesn't it sound ridiculous? That's because it is ridiculous.
It sounds crazy.
There is medical gatekeeping that's involved in this. There's literally, there's a medical procedure in order to get.
So there's a lot of hysteria is what you're saying, and a lot of fake reporting.
Yeah, it's similar to the satanic panic that's going on now where it was like Balenciaga and like, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Just like people inventing these fantasies in their head, like where the
kids, the photo shoot was weird.
Yeah,
and the kid,
whatever.
But I don't believe that like Balenciaga is like
has some like satanic agenda,
right? And they're not like, you know, like sacrificing like babies to feed to the Illuminati. No, then we go too far. We just go too far.
It's just, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, but it's in lockstep with that very similar type of like way of thinking and ideology. The people who are like, we have to save children from the evil medical industrial complex that's trying to pump them with hormones and stuff like that. It's like,
it's not happening.
That's
that
like
way.
not. It's
but
not.
Also,
that's not even happening.
I mean, I'm just coming from a standpoint where I just think the government should kind of like stay out of things too. And it's like if parents and like their kid want to do that, then it's kind of up to them.
Well, for sure. It should be like, the other thing too is kids and adolescents go on hormones for a bunch of different reasons. Birth control. Hate to break it to you. It's hormones. Birth control is hormones. So you want to stop giving teenagers, conservatives do want to stop giving teenagers birth control.
Yes, they want, 13-year-olds to have babies.
There are people who I know who they might like, I know people and families who have given their children growth hormones so that they could be a little bit taller. That's the thing that happens frequently as well. So the idea that like we need to ban like hormones for just these people, or like the idea that a 16-year-old who in any state with consent from their parents can get a nose job, can get a breast augmentation. Even Bella Hadid had her nose job at 14 years old. And I'm sorry, Bella, but without that nose job, maybe your career wouldn't have been as blossoming.
I think she's gotten she's gotten multiple nose jobs for sure, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know multiple, but what I'm saying is like, they're not trying to, if you're going to try to legislate away like surgery that transgender adolescents are getting is mutilation, then be consistent. Be consistent. Like that's all I'm asking for. Then you have to. Then you ban medical surgery for everybody under the age of 18. Right. But they're not going to do that.
You're also like, I love how you're just open about everything. But you're also very critical of President Biden.
Yeah.
Why not? Right. I mean, you're like honest about. You're not just like blindly like, I'm on one side and No, you can't be. I think agree. Like in order to, this idea that everything in the world is
black and white is
or blue or red or whatever.
An unevolved way of thinking.
Extremely.
Yeah. Sorry, the world is not black and white. The world is mostly gray. Yep. And there are some issues that are black and white. Yes. That's why the trans issue is actually kind of a difficult thing, because it's like, of course, like when it's marketed to people, like we have to protect children from like this evil medical establishment and this ideology that's confusing them. When it's marketed to people that way, it's like, yeah, of course we have to like protect them. But that's not the truth. They're not performing mastectomies on fucking 13-year-olds. It's just not happening.
They don't even
the
have
data's
boobs.
not there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of 13-year-olds don't have breasts yet.
Exactly. So it's
when I originally, I wanted to have you on with a detransitioner to debate, but that might have been just a little too,
the problem is like, I can totally understand how that there are going to be some people who slip through the cracks. Of course,
some,
there's going to be some people who feel like they have some kind of misalignment in their brain, and perhaps it's something related to their gender.
Yes.
But that's why we need to educate medical professionals on the signs to look out for if somebody truly is trans, or if they're suffering with some other mental affliction that needs a diagnosis. Not every doctor is a good doctor. Sorry, hate to break it to you.
There's a lot that aren't good.
There are a lot of doctors that aren't good, who don't know how to handle every issue. There are people, that's why we need have some type of medical gatekeeping, of course, when it comes to trans issues, but we also need to make sure that medical professionals are educated enough to point out when somebody is truly transgender, or if they're suffering with something else. And that's a problem with the people in medical school not making sure that these doctors have that education before they go out in the field and start doing that. So it's you're pointing the finger at the wrong thing.
Right.
And then Ron DeSantis, this is another thing. I know we want to move on to another topic, but this is the thing that is really crazy to me. How conservatives are running on all of these trans issues, and this is all they stand for nowadays. Ron DeSantis just passed, or is just introduced this bill into the Senate that would allow federal judges to basically more or less legally kidnap trans kids from their parents.
What?
Yes. Oh, this is real. This is a thing that this is why I was you need to look this up. If you're even seeking medical intervention, if you have a trans kid and they even go to a doctor and say hi, I'm transgender, I want hormones, and you're under the age of 18, the government, they're proposing legislation where the government can literally take you away from your parents, as if they're abusing you. They're crazy. Trying to market medical transition, or just being trans in general, as a thing that is a form of child abuse.
Wow. I had no idea.
Can you imagine?
I can't.
Can you imagine if your kid was trans and then all you do is go to the doctor to figure out what's going on with them, or just to get more guidance or more help, and then the doctor or somebody who knows about this reports you to the government, and they take your fucking kid away from you, all because they're trying to help your kid?
No, it's great. That's
it's insane. But I mean, it's just, this is supposed to, the conservative party, the Republican Party is supposed to be, they run on this anti-authoritarian.
Yes, exactly. Little government.
Yes, small, limited government, small government. And these are the people who are banning books, trying to take kids, trying to get in between doctors and patients.
Yeah, it's not very, they're not really practicing what they preach.
They're fucking hypocrites. And they're also the cringiest people ever. I can't imagine. In a country that has so much turmoil in terms of the class inequality, people can't even afford health insurance to even go to a doctor in the first fucking place.
It's fucking crazy.
You know what I mean? People have hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical debt and student loan debt. People can't unionize. The corporate overreach is insane. Our politicians just work at the behest of corporations. I mean, all this stuff is pretty obvious.
Wait, I'm glad that you're talking about this now, because
but I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm just going to say but the idea that the trans issue is the thing that we
the pressing issue.
This is the pressing issue of the moment. We need to save the 3,000 kids who are seeking hormone replacement therapy.
It's all a distraction. Each party does it, right? They'll cling on to these culture war issues, so we're not being wait, like, why is the government like fucking us like constantly? You know?
Yeah, it's like these incredibly salacious issues that are like make a great headline.
Yeah.
That make, you know, like where like Joe Rogan can talk about it or whatever, or like it's nice and salacious. So like the people who like love infotainment, like the classic Fox News watcher doesn't even want Fox News anymore because it's not even salacious enough for them. So they go to like, you know, whatever it's like the, you know, like Ben Shapiro or Matt Walsh or like any of these weird like Republican cretins who like, you like know,
pundits.
Pundits who like are on the internet and talk about like how horrible transition is, and then like they'll talk about how evil transgender people are, and then they'll spend
you
like
should
the
go
rest.
On, you should like go on Ben Shapiro.
I would love to. He would never
Ben Shapiro.
Listen up, Ben.
Listen up, okay? Get Teddy on your podcast.
They would not have me on because I would humanize the trans issue, and this is a huge like they wouldn't have me on because they would like quickly realize that I'm not.
What about Dave Rubin? What about Dave Rubin?
Dave Rubin too. Dave Rubin, that fucking shill. And you can leave that in. He is a shill. I'm sorry. Like, you know, he's such a fucking cucked loser. They're all cucked to their conservative donors and like all this stuff. Like, you know, they're just peddling whatever the corporate line is.
Do you like AOC?
I mean, initially, yes.
Yeah.
I think initially what she stood for, yes. I think she is one of the very few politicians who at times fights for working class people.
Right.
So I don't think that everything she does is bad.
Yeah.
I don't think she's like the boogeyman or whatever, but I definitely think that she has made a lot of compromises to have close ties to the Democratic establishment.
That's the problem with our politicians, period. Is that even fucking Bernie Sanders, who is probably the only one who I really think does care about the working class people, actually. But like he can only get so far. Yeah,
Bernie Sanders too. I mean, the problem is like the politicians who win the elections are the ones who have tons of money and are backed by, you know, the DNC or the RNC or like, you know, any like
Bernie Sanders, even if he had become president, he wouldn't be able to fucking make any changes because of the rest of the government.
Look at Biden. Biden tried to do, like, he ran on student debt forgiveness, and he's trying to forgive $10,000 of debt for people who like went to college and for people who make under $120,000 a year. I don't know if any of people have lived on $120,000 a year in a major city. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's hard.
$120,000 a year
in New York City. No, sorry, it just came out that $100,000 in New York City is like living on $36,000.
I know, because I'd be living on that money.
Well, that's fucked. What? Like, this is crazy. It's bad. I'm moving in with my parents when my lease is up.
This period, same. I'm like, I might as well move in with my parents.
I'm done doing this. It's too stressful.
It's too stressful. It's too expensive. It's like absolutely
This isn't
insane.
like life. This isn't life. But keep going what you're saying. Because Joe Biden was trying to.
Yeah. So Joe Biden, one of his major policy, like one of the things that he ran on was student debt forgiveness. He tries to forgive $10,000 worth of student debt, which of course isn't going to address the main root concern, which is like we really like tuition should just not be that expensive.
People should be able to go to college.
The government should regulate how much tuition costs in the first place. Like at least on the state level, at least for like the public colleges. Right. And they're not even doing that. So like the $10,000 is nothing. Sorry. It's not even that much money. So to forgive all of these people making under $120,000 a year and to give them this minimal amount of relief on their student loans, which they may never be able to pay off in their lifetimes. Right. And to treat that like as if it's like, this is a handout to the elites. Like they're the conservative line, and like the judge just blocked it, so like now it's not even gonna happen.
Oh my God.
But the way that they're marketing it is that, or the way that the conservatives are rallying against it is they're saying this is a class issue. They're saying like that it's college educated elites are getting a break and you're not getting a break. And it's like, okay, well, they're college educated elites who like aren't making that much money because they're making under $125,000 a year. Right. And $10,000
just
in the scheme of things is not that much money.
Yeah, just because you went to college doesn't make you an elite. At all. People go to college for so many different types of jobs.
Yeah, obviously. There are a lot of people who go to college and then end up working at Starbucks because they like
can't find another job.
They can't find a better job that has great benefits. And like, they'd rather work at Starbucks making minimum wage or like $15 an hour or whatever, or at least they have health insurance than nothing at all. And so it's like, what ends up happening is these corporations pay people like pennies on the dollar, more or less. Like they pay them minimum wage. And then, you know who has to, and then the government picks up like where the corporations left off, and like the government subsidizes these corporations to pay their employees nothing. So it's like, you're making minimum wage and you can't afford your rent and you can't afford food. So guess what? You end up getting government assistance. So instead of addressing the corporate greed factor, which is what they really should be doing. Obviously more or less they just end up like,
they don't do anything.
They don't do anything.
They actually don't do anything.
I was gonna say they don't even do. I was trying to think of something. They don't address anything. No. They try to maintain the status quo for as long as possible until it's impossible.
Maybe you should get into politics.
I would if I wasn't like, if I wanted to be a fucking politician, but anybody who wants to be a politician is like mentally ill and crazy. Like, I don't want to show up to Congress with these lunatics like Ted Cruz and like have to like get into an argument and like fight for, you know, Nancy Pelosi, like with her face melting off her skull. Like, I'm sorry. No, like, I'm not a fucking about that life. I would, and I would love to help in any way that I can, but also I don't know if I'm like electable. But also Donald Trump wasn't electable.
Exactly. No, there are so many people like that aren't electable that get elected.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe I could.
What would your ideal America look like?
Not much different than it is now, other than the fact that I wish that people had the same sort of benefits as any other developed nation in the world. Like, I don't think that you should have to go bankrupt if you get sick. Like, sorry. Like, I know that is a radical idea. Dude, I don't even know like how much a 3-day night stay in the hospital is, but it's something like $100K or something.
It's insane.
Like, it's an enormous amount of money.
Yeah. I mean, I spend a lot of, my health insurance is really expensive.
I don't have health insurance.
So
I can't afford it.
The typical 3-night emergency room stay on average is $3,800 for emergency room visit basic. The average 3-day stay in a medical facility, like if you were checked into a room, is $27,500
a day
for the 3 days. The average,
that's still crazy.
No, but that's just for the room. That's not even for like like if you have to get an X-ray, if you have to get medical testing. So it
blood tests and MRIs and whatever.
I don't know about most people, but I'm imagining the average American doesn't just have $30K lying around for them to spend on a 3-day stay in the hospital if they get sick.
But can't you get like the New York, like whatever?
I think New York does have some subsidies for lower income people.
You need to get health insurance.
I can't afford it because I make too much money to get.
It's like I make too much to
get like the subsidy, but I don't make enough money where I can afford it. And I'm sorry, like I don't want to like live my life eating ramen noodles. I'd rather like spend that extra $1,000 a month or something on like actually feeding myself good food and like,
of course, and then like paying out of pocket, like if you like get strep throat or
something.
Interesting.
The average cost of a 500 milligram tablet of Tylenol on a prescription is $20. The average cost of a 500 milligram round of Tylenol at a hospital is $650.
Bitch.
No, the medical industry and health insurance industry is so fucking corrupt and like it's wild.
Yeah. And they feed off of each other too. So it's like, that's when people talk about the medical industrial complex, they're not just talking about like the pharmaceutical companies and the hospitals. It's also the insurance companies that are a huge factor in that. It infuriates me too because it's like I don't blame people for wanting to not pay their taxes when we're in some bullshit like proxy war with Ukraine that like we're ultimately gonna lose.
I don't even know what's going. I'm not even gonna pretend like I have any idea about what's going on in the Ukraine.
But I'm just I don't know. I mean, like.
I don't know what's happening.
It does. I'll tell you right now.
What can you tell me from Teddy's? Yeah, you tell me what's happening with the Ukraine.
I'll tell you right now. We are escalating a war that is unwinnable, more or less, in the name of grandstanding against a nuclear power, and also because it benefits people, the shareholders, and the executives of these enormous military companies like Halliburton and Raytheon and like Boeing and all the people who make the planes and the bombs and the guns. So, you know, like this, like there's a huge, like, if you want to understand why the United States is involved in like literally anything, just figure out like where, like who's making money off of it.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And just like there's so many.
I guess
that's why like it actually infuriates me when these conservative idiots are like talking about like the like the Balenciaga thing and the trans thing or whatever. Like there are real conspiracies out there.
Yeah.
Like, and they are right in front of your face.
Yeah, that are actually happening.
The conspiracies are not like these sexy, cool, fun conspiracies that you would like.
Like,
you know,
Hillary Clinton is.
Hillary Clinton running the pizza shop.
The funniest thing is years ago when my daughter was like little, like she didn't know who the fuck, you know. And maybe me and Rob were in the car, we're talking about the election or something.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talk. You know, Hillary. She hears Hillary Clinton. She goes, who's Hillary Clinton? And I said, she's running for president. And she goes, does she eat people? And I'm like, why do you think that? And it was like from fucking TikTok or something.
Yeah.
Like how would she put that in? You know what I mean? She must have seen it online. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, but your daughter was young. There are grown ass adults that who believe this shit.
I mean, I have friends that like think that that's kind of happening.
Like, that's why like I understand for some downtown New York people, it's like cool to be conservative because it's like, you know, whatever. But like really it's not cool to be conservative because they believe in this dumb shit.
Wait, let's talk about the downtown conservative
Oh my
scene.
God.
What's like
I fell into that hole for a second because it was so easy to, because it's like obviously like, you know, these BLM liberals are like hella annoying.
Yeah, and it's like contrarian.
Yeah,
like it's kind of like, and we love Red Scare.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously.
We love Dasha.
We love Dasha and Anna.
Yeah.
But they're not really like conservative. They're just like not like,
they're not truly conservative. They kind of like pretend. It's like it's kind of like a more of a, they're like masquerading.
They're like provoking people a little.
Yeah, it's a little.
I mean, it's one of my.
It's a little tongue in cheek.
Exactly, and it's funny because I asked Anna to come on the pod, which she said she's going to, which I'm like kind of nervous about. She's honestly so fucking smart. I'm afraid I don't even have enough vocabulary words to even keep up with her.
She does use some very expensive.
Her words are like
$400 words.
They're expensive ass words. I'm like, huh? Yeah. Let me Google that. What the fuck is that? Like she's like talking about people. I'm like, who is that person? But I still love.
What does pedantic mean?
But yeah, there is like a little kind of, because it's also like it's like going against the grain, or it's almost like counterculture, right?
Yeah, but it's also
to not be like waving a rainbow flag and a trans flag and the BLM and the, you know, everything.
But also like in some ways,
but then we have to think about the real life consequences of actual conservative laws that they are making. Yeah. Right? Like in terms of especially like, you know, abortion
I would say on the trans issues thing, like the Red Scare girls are like pretty spot on. I think they see through the bullshit. Yeah. And I think on their podcast and when they talk about it, they understand that it's like a crock of shit. You know what I mean? Like they're wise enough to understand that it's like a complete and total distraction from, you know, all the other nefarious things that are going on in our political system. You know, like they're wise enough to see that, which is great, you know, and I don't blame them. Like they were also right about a bunch of stuff. Like, of course, like with the BLM being a complete and total racket.
Oh my God. Yep. A scam.
Which, like who didn't see that? Who couldn't have seen that coming?
Holy shit. And like that woman like bought a house and like, and where was it? In somewhere in LA, like, I don't know, some white
something Patrice Colors.
Yeah, some like white ass neighborhood. Topanga. No, not Topanga. I can't remember. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, that's because a lot of liberal stuff is just like conservative stuff is really hollow and empty. It's like, you know, like Kamala Harris being like the first Black female vice president. Who gives a shit? She sucks.
Yeah,
I know. Who cares that she's like half Black and like, you know, and a woman? She has no substantive policy agenda.
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, she also was like locking up people for like so many years.
She was like incarcerating people for like smoking weed and stuff like that.
She has 77 what we would consider minor infractions, max sentencings. So if somebody was like, whatever, let's say it was a couple grams over the legal limit, she was maxing out sentences.
Wow.
When she was
in LA, right? Or San Francisco.
And then the gall of her to then go on what was that show like that's
with Charlemagne, maybe?
Yeah, Charlemagne the God, his show.
Yeah, see the God,
and then be like, yeah, I smoke weed and I listen to Snoop Dogg. Fuck you, bitch.
Oh my God.
You do not smoke weed and listen to Snoop Dogg.
And if you do, like, how dare you?
Yeah, but she got Tulsi Gabbard, who I think used to be a really cool politician, is now just a fucking Fox News pundit. Like, this is what always happens. Who used to actually stand for something. She doesn't stand for anything anymore.
I haven't really kept up with her. What happened to her?
She's just on Fox News now.
And she's just like
a Fox News pundit lady. She like fills in for Tucker Carlson sometimes. I'm like, okay, girl.
Oh, I guess she needed money.
She's, like one of those.
Yeah, but she was like cool.
Yeah, she was cool initially. But this is what always happens is like, they just...
What about Marianne Williamson?
I love Marianne Williamson.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think she's amazing. And I think it is horrible how the mainstream media is maligning her and disparaging her.
Biden's the White House press secretary, they were like,
up.
She was like, what did she say? She said something like, maybe
she
or
consult my crystal ball, or
right?
Like,
and like
whatever.
was like, and I'm like, no, Marianne Williamson is dope.
But they refuse to bring up any of her policy agenda because her policies are all like incredibly popular. So instead of like talking about her policies, they're just trying to write her off as like some weird mystic.
Yeah,
or
like she's just a witch,
psychic adjacent, someone not to be taken seriously.
And meanwhile, she's like
and
a New York
also Sunny
Times
Hostin on The View did the same thing too. Sunny Hostin on The View said that that she said that like made some incredibly disparaging comments about her and like how she said like that Marianne Williamson I don't know, she just mischaracterized something that Marianne Williamson said about AIDS. And Marianne Williamson was like one of the people
on the fucking front lines with the AIDS epidemic. Oh my God.
So to be on a show like The View and to be like, I stand for feminism, all these things. This is a woman running for the president of the United States for your fucking party.
Yep.
And you're going to malign her and disparage her that way. Like, makes me sick to my stomach what they're doing to Marianne. Marianne, if you're watching this, I love you.
I love you too, Marianne.
I love you, Marianne.
I love you too.
Queen.
Save our country.
She can save us.
I think she can too.
Yeah, if she was Oprah Winfrey's spiritual advisor, that's when our country needs some deep spiritual guidance.
Yes.
Yeah.
We really do. She can help heal us.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan. And you know what? I think she has a chance. I think people are so fed up with like this bullshit that like, you know what? I think once...
Who else are we going to choose? What is it? I mean, who else is going to run? Like, who's going to be like, what are our options?
I don't know if Biden has it in him to run again. And he's like, of course, like on the brink of death.
He keeps falling up the stairs like nonstop. Yeah. He's always falling up those stairs.
Falling down those stairs.
No, but he falls up them. He fell up them again.
He fell off the bike.
I'm not even going to lie though. When I was getting like, I wish that I got fucked up with Hunter Biden.
Oh my God. Hunter Biden, please.
Because that would have been fun.
That's why this is...
He was getting the best Coke. He was getting that fucking uncut, best, like straight from Colombia, straight from like Pablo Escobar. I know he's dead now, but he was getting that uncut, like he was getting the best drugs. He liked to fuck.
I would be fucking doing meth with Hunter Biden.
Fucking yeah, me too.
Have you seen the pictures of him getting the foot job?
Yes, I've seen all of them.
And his dick is big.
It's big. He's got BDE. He seems like a fun time to me.
Yeah, he seems like a fun time to me too. I'd totally fuck Hunter Biden.
And I also like, I really don't like any politicians, but I will say that I have a lot of empathy and compassion for President Biden because I do feel like his family is plagued with a lot of trauma and a lot of addiction. And I know that they were doing a lot of shady stuff, yes, and making money that way and whatever. Things people do these things. Abuse of power comes as no surprise,
also,
right?
This is what I'm saying is like when I was sorry to bring this up again, but when I was talking about to Miss Rita Linkner,
yes,
when I was addressing Miss Rita Linkner via the podcast, saying like you have to be careful about like exposing children to so much exorbitant, indulgent things, they end up like Hunter Biden. So, I mean, he's a great example of like maybe why.
What's the Bush's daughter seemed like she came out. Jenna Bush. She seems like she came out kind of okay.
Well, some of them are fine.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm just bringing up.
Not all of them are bad.
Not everyone ends up like
I know
Hunter
a lot
Biden.
of really bad ones. There are a lot of good examples of people who get like really fucked up by money and stuff. Like money is so corrupting, and yeah, truly, like greed. It might be the worst.
It is.
It really is the worst thing. I just burped on. Did you hear my?
No, I thought your stomach was growling because you were so hungry because you don't eat. I'm just kidding.
I had General Tso's chicken today, actually. Now that I'm back,
not a gust of wind and a sheep. What did you say?
Oh yeah, I said a gust.
We've been crushed ice and a gust of wind.
I guess people. I'm suspended from TikTok right now.
Oh my god! Wait, Rita told me this. Why?
I don't know. I posted this like "Get Ready with Me" with Anna Delvey, and I got like booted from TikTok, and I don't even know why, because the video was like totally like benign and fine.
What were you
I didn't
saying?
even.
What were you doing?
Nothing. I was just like, "Get ready with me to go to Anna Delvey's house," and like blah blah blah.
You didn't
but
say
somehow,
like or something.
No, I
I'm gonna
didn't say
cut that out. I'm gonna bleep that. We'll bleep it.
It's retard.
I don't understand why retard's not acceptable.
What?
I don't understand.
Why is it not acceptable?
Because
nothing's acceptable anymore.
I don't
We
care.
can't
I'll say any. I think no words should be off the table at all. Like I think it is stupid.
Well, we're giving it a lot of power by being like, we can't say it's just a lot.
Well, no, you're feeding into them by not saying that like we have to censor the word retard. I'm sorry. Don't take this out. I'll say it. Retard. This is dumb. We cannot feed into the most radical elements of Twitter at all times and censor ourselves like so that people who aren't even afflicted by true mental retardation feel like that they have the moral authority to censor what I say. Fuck you.
Yeah.
As somebody who grew up in special education class and was relegated to special education class and has been called a retard my entire life, how dare you tell me what words I can and cannot say?
Go off,
Fuck
queen.
you.
Go off, queen.
Sorry.
Teddy's
Bye.
our queen.
It's literally anti-intellectual. It's anti-intellectual to censor people. I mean, but this happens all the time. So there is the annoying thing about when conservatives talk about like, you know, like all this crazy stuff on college campuses.
Yeah, like
the worst
cancel
part about it
culture
is there's like actually a grain of truth in it. You know, like there is a grain of truth in the fact that these institutions are pandering to like, you know, these very radical elements at their school.
It's not even a grain of truth. It is true.
Yeah.
Yes,
and they
are doing that.
They need to stand their fucking ground and be like, actually, no, like we're educators here. And like in an educational setting, like certain things have to be permitted in the name of seeking truth.
Yeah.
And having a productive dialogue. And if you're censoring things because some fucking loser idiot can't handle a word being spoken.
Well, even that's why they have the safe spaces and shit, like at colleges.
Honey,
the fuck?
The idea that you need a safe space. Have you ever ridden the subway in New York City? Good luck on your safe spaces. Your safe space doesn't exist when you step outside the doors of Parsons.
Yes.
Or NYU or any one of these Columbia, any one of these gay Manhattan institutions.
I'm starting to wonder where the hell my daughter is like going to go to college because everything is so like crazy.
Purdue University.
No, I want her to go to like
Homeschool.
University of Miami because I want to move there.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Or like if
you want her to go to the University of Miami so you can fuck her friends.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, so you can.
And Alex Earl goes there, and I think she's a wonderful example.
Is Alex Earl that caller daddy bitch?
No, Alex Earl is
She's like the new it girl right now.
She's the
Social
TikTok
media.
girl
TikTok.
who I think is like fucking hilarious. I think she got her boobs done too early. That's just my own personal opinion.
She had a pretty big breakout on TikTok, real big.
She's
I feel
but
like
she's
okay,
cool.
I know
No,
who this girl is now.
she's
It's
cool
like
because she talks about like having struggled with acne. She talks about being on fucking mental.
No, not acne.
She talks about it was her big woe in life and the cross that she bears.
I knew that was
so
coming.
Hard. It was so hard. I had to get on
Accutane.
I had to get on Accutane when I was 15. It was really a struggle. You know, that's the thing that bothers me about Americans is Americans are so privileged that they can like literally hear a sob story about having acne as a teenager.
I know, and look at me, I'm like, it's true. It's true. I'm like,
so dumb.
I'm like, Alex Earl, you have my heart.
That struggle is so real, girl. Oh my God, yeah, acne's so
and
hard.
She was on Lexapro.
Oh my God,
but
and
listen,
she was on antidepressants.
Wait, hold
I was
on.
so depressed.
Wait, no, but listen, I have
I'm on Wellbutrin.
Hold on. Oh, are you? It made me want to like kill myself.
My problem with it is I am more of an alcoholic than I am like, you know, like I was having problems with it because my hangovers were so bad on Wellbutrin. Like I already have bad hangovers and like just as I get older.
That's why I had to stop drinking. One thing about Alex Earl, okay. Remember Ashley Dupree?
No, who's that?
That hooker who slept with Elliot Spitzer.
Oh my God, Major.
And she was like client number 9. And like, do you not remember this was like a whole thing? Her dad was also a client and then married her. Wait, Ashley Dupree is Alex Earl's stepmom. And she was a famous hooker who basically brought down Elliot Spitzer.
I remember this, yes. And what was the name of the website? Do you remember the name of the website that they were all using?
Can you look it up?
But I don't know. That's
I found the website for you if you're ready.
What's the website?
So the initial website for her was ashleymadison.com.
Ashley Madison.
And there was a subleased website called escorts.ca, which was housed outside the United States. And they used this escorts.ca location to mask Ashley Madison's hand in an escorting ring. So it was a sublease. So you post on Ashley Madison, you would use a specific code that Ashley Madison's website would understand that you were escorting, and they would funnel you through escort.ca.
I think escorting and prostitution should be totally legal. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that it's not.
Well, it's legal for the elite. It's like
everything is legal for the elite.
Exactly. You know, it's dumb because it truly is like one of the, oh my God, I've been sitting here the whole time with my fupanza hanging out like that. But it's legal for, you know, like, of course, like anything is legal if you're elite. You can get away with murder if you're elite. You know, it's just
true.
Whatever. I'm glad that I don't, now I have a boyfriend. So like I actually have to get I posted him on my Insta. This world is so dark and so horrible, but I found something that literally like being in love with this guy like keeps me going, you know, like it stops me from like from ending it all. Seriously. He really is like in some ways like my savior. So
I feel that way about my family, honestly. That's why I keep going, because what the fuck is the point of anything else?
What are you doing? Are you dating people?
No, I'm not at all.
No.
I'm not dating at all. No.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Are you just over it?
I'm not, you know what? my family's going through so much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just like with
Sorry
stuff.
about that.
Oh yeah, thank you. And so I'm just like, I have to be there for them. You know what I mean? Like I really have to be there for my family and obviously my daughter who's doing great, thank God. Yeah. But that's like, you know, but we are living in a dark time.
We are.
We really are.
It's fucking
Sometimes
dark.
I'm like, is it just me? But this is fucked up.
No, it's not just you. And you don't even know half the shit that's going on because
I really don't. I'm like, what's happening in the Ukraine?
Some crazy shit to you and you weren't even.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Like I fucking feel it.
It feels heavy.
It feels heavy.
Very heavy. But you know what? Like the truth is I know sounds so gay, but love will prevail. And it truly is. Like love is like the driving force. And I know sometimes life can feel so dark and like we don't have love, but it's out there. It's just not your time yet. My boyfriend, my love came to me when I wasn't looking for it. I know everyone says like love happens when you're not looking for it, but it's true. It really does.
Expect it.
When you least expect it. Yeah. But anyways, thank you so much for having me. It was so nice to catch up with you. Sorry I was rambling the entire time. I didn't even let you talk.
I mean, honestly, I'm exhausted today. You did it. It was perfect.
Yeah, I'm not hungover anymore, so I'm in a great mood. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Teddy, where can people find you?
People can find me on my Instagram account, which is Teddy_Quinlivan. I have been suspended/banned from TikTok, but I will surely make an account soon that will be my name.
Okay, and maybe they'll reinstate you.
I'm trying to get my publicist to do something about it, but he's get him working. Matthew Cancel's really dragging his feet on getting me unsuspended from TikTok. But yeah, find me on Instagram. Insta is where I post all the hot content.
And also follow me on TikTok at The Real Leah McSweeney. Follow me on Instagram at Leah Mob. Follow The Leah McSweeney Show on Instagram at The Leah McSweeney Show. And I'm not going to be on Twitter because I hate it.